All right. So it looks like we are live. So if we're live, give us a thumbs up to make sure that this is running and you can hear me because I see little green bars moving. But, since I have some microphone issues every once in a while, who knows? Oh, and I'm playing the video at the same time. So let me make sure that I shut that down. Hey, there we go. All right. So right now it says there are 6 people watching. So what's up, Keith? How's it going? Mad Max, what's up? Rad Tech 99, what's going on? Nodak, what's up, buddy? Philip Harper, and of course, Sandpaper Pistol Grips. What's up, guys? Hopefully there'll be some more people on the way. Again, this is my flying solo chat. So I don't really plan on spending, crazy amounts of time on here. So maybe just like an hour, maybe 45 minutes around there. Range Randy, how you doing? So we're going to talk about a couple of things tonight. Actually, the first thing I want to do is I want to show you something that is pretty darn sweet, and it's this thing right here. This is a Shadow 2, if you can't see that. But I just got this, actually. Finally, I was able to pick it up, and I only had to wait about 2.5, 3 weeks. And this was actually sent to me courtesy of Sandpaper Pistol Grips. And I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to take care of it like it's my own, which is a good thing because I'm kind of OCD about taking care of my guns. And then I'm going to do an overall review, but I'm going to do a tabletop at some point and then get to it once I shoot it. But man, this is a beast, and this thing is pretty sweet so far. But again, I haven't shot it. Hopefully shoot it next weekend. I was thinking about going tomorrow, but I kind of want to sleep in a little bit. It's been a rough week. So just really quick, Frank, how you doing? Big Mo, what's up? KS, how you doing, buddy? Matt, how you doing? Harry Timmons, hello. Huns for Food, hello. Logan White, what's up? And I think I got everybody right now. So I'm glad to see everybody is here. Hopefully, like I said, Steve, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, so basically tonight's a little different because I'm going to throw some things out there to all of you who are watching. And for those of you who actually come back and watch the live chat once it's no longer live. But I've been wrapping my head around some things. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I've been, listening to, obviously with all the drama that's been going on in regards to Second Amendment rights and, banning this and that and everything else so that we can eventually defend ourselves with swords and pikes. One of the things that I had noticed was that we get a lot of people who are, very radicalized by it. We have some people who are kind of wishy-washy about it, and then we have some people who claim that they're going to use more of a moderate approach to it. Is there a right or wrong to any of this? I don't really think so. I think if you're radicalized by it, then you should be. If you're kind of wishy-washy, I don't really want to be hanging around you, but that's your right. And of course, the moderate people, quote unquote moderates, who want to use more cerebral approaches to the gun issue, I don't have a problem with that either. But the one thing that I'd have to say in regards to the whole gun issue is the fact that we have so many different areas of this country right now that are basically affected in so many different ways. I know right now the biggest thing is dealing with, bump stocks. And now, of course, you've got some senators who are trying to pass some bills or actually, I shouldn't say senators, but Congress people or members who are trying to pass bills to ban assault rifles or to ban semi-automatic guns in general. And, I know a lot of people are on edge about that, and it's understandable. Anytime, you hear somebody kind of talking about our Second Amendment rights and restricting that, I think Americans historically have a problem with governments restricting what we deem our rights. And, that Constitution is not something, in my opinion, that is sort of like maybe today, maybe tomorrow. I mean, it's an everyday sort of thing. So if you guys, are thinking, well, if I give this up and I give that up, then it's okay. You really need to start thinking about it a little bit more and a little bit clearer. Now, of course, one of the things I'm looking forward to doing in the near future is on my chat on the Flying Solo. I'm actually proposing that I get a few people on the chat. And I bring them together, all different parts of the country, so that we can start to identify the issues that are affecting us in our local areas. And then from there, have more of a specified vision as to where we want to see it going. And I think that would help us as a community in great measures because, like, for example, what affects me in New York doesn't affect KS guy, gun guy in Kansas. or Big Johnson. You know, there's much more freer states when it comes to guns, and of course, you know, obviously picking up your guns. So I'd like to approach it in a way where we identify our local problems, and then we have a unified group or a unified voice that makes sense. Because honestly, you know, some people out there who are supposedly representing the gun community, I don't know if they're really representing the gun community or if they're representing their own opportunities to make money off of what's happening. And that's something that I'm very cautious about. So in the near future, I plan on having a panel of people from all walks of or all sections of the country: the Northeast, the Southwest, the West, the Midwest, the South. So I'm going to try to grab a few people who would like to be on the chat as a panel member. Obviously, you know, you guys can PM me if you'd be interested. I'd have no problem in having you on, but obviously I can only, you know, invite so many people. So I'm definitely going to vet them carefully, because the one thing I want to avoid is, you know, somebody coming on here and just saying, you know, we should chop their heads off, because that's not going to get us anywhere. As impassioned as we are as a community, we need to start thinking about this logically, and we need to start putting a different face on the gun community. You know, the one thing that I think they're looking for are for the people to go out there and start screaming and burning down buildings, because then they can always point their fingers and say, see, we told you so. They're all crazy. And I don't think we can necessarily approach it that way. But again, that's going to be my opinion. And then hopefully, you know, with me, you know, trying to get some people on the panel, you know, hopefully we can get some heavy hitters. You know, I'm looking at maybe somebody large in the community, but I'm not sure if they'd be willing to do it. And then obviously some moderately sized channels, small channels, and just everybody kind of coming together as one. But again, we'll see how that plays out. So, you know, from now, you know, we'll talk a little bit about guns. We'll talk a little bit about things you want to talk about, and then we'll go from there. So, you know, just kind of going through it here. I haven't been really looking at anybody's comments because I've been too busy talking. And I'll see some of your comments. So somebody's saying, love my Mid-Atlantic holster too. Yeah, I agree. They're very good. Let's see. All right, so Steve just got his Mid-Atlantic holster. He loves it. Yeah, they're very good. Very good stuff. Absolutely. Nodak Willie is saying no bargaining with rights. Yeah, you know, I agree. You know, it's a tough situation because, you know, there are people who will say, oh my God, you're speaking out against bump stocks. How dare you? And then there are people out there who say, who the hell cares about bump stocks? But that's what I'm saying. I mean, there has to be some sort of a rationale on how we're going to represent what we actually want and what we actually need. Because, you know, we're losing the fight right now. And I think it deals with the fact that we don't have a unified voice. I think it's the fact that there's so much infighting within the community. You have the NRA pitted up against the GOA. They're going head to head. They're squabbling like two schoolboys in the schoolyard. And I mean, it's just stupid. I mean, here you have one group that's been around forever, another group that's just coming on strong. And instead of them working together to benefit the gun community as a whole, they're too busy, you know, pulling each other's hair out. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Let's see. Let's see. Frank is saying he's fat. I don't know what that is. Let's see. Logan is saying, just a heads up if he ever makes videos. Logan, start making videos, damn it. Let's see. Hunts for Food is saying, I just got a Raven concealment. I don't know if that's spelled correctly. P-Run holster. I don't know. For my Glock 19, pretty nice holster for 39 bucks. Good. Excellent. That's why you don't have to pay, you know, $100 for a good holster. There's plenty of them out there. Absolutely. Matt saying he picked up an M&P 22 LR full size, great plinker. Absolutely. I mean, all those 22s are pretty much built the same. Let's see. So anybody have any questions or anything? Like I said, if it's going to be kind of a short-lived, you know, live chat, then so be it. That's totally fine. No big deal. Not too worried about it. Let's see. One of the other things that kind of concerns me too is that Donald is, you know, talking a lot of junk, talking about, well, you know, let's skip over due process. I mean, to even, I can't believe some of the conversations that people are having right now. It's frightening, absolutely frightening, how they can just, you know, arbitrarily say, well, we need the First Amendment, but we don't need the Second Amendment all the time, but we need the Fourth Amendment, but only when it applies to certain groups. I mean, it's just crazy. Crazy to me what's going on in the nation right now. You know, and it's funny because before I started with this, my wife and I got into a bit of a heated discussion about it, you know, because she's reading an article about, you know, Florida. I guess the Florida Congress voted against raising age limits for AR-15s, so she couldn't understand why that was. And you know, to me, I'm saying, why should a person have to be 21 to buy an AR-15? What happens from the age of 18 to 21 that significantly increases their chances of being rational and logical people? You know, because I remember when I was 18 and I remember when I was 21, there ain't that big of a difference. So let's see. Music lover saying her guns are scary. Yes, all guns are scary. Yeah, they're all frightening. Have I found a Caracol yet? Nope, not a one. And let's see. Carry my revolver in single action saying this is the biggest attack on the Second Amendment. Is it me or am I not seeing much from the NRA or GOA? That's a great point, Revolver, because I actually said the same thing today to myself. I haven't seen anything or heard anything. I don't know if they're doing it for a strategic advantage, but it is frightening. It's definitely frightening to see how this attack, maybe they're thinking maybe like a rope-a-dope scenario, let them keep punching and punching and punching until they wear themselves out. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Range Randy is saying if we give into bump stocks and raising the age limit for purchasing a rifle to 21 and we still have mass shootings, then they will want to ban ARs. It won't stop. We have to stand strong now. That's a great point also. Because again, you know, you look at the standpoint of, well, you know, if you do this and you do that and it still happens, then what else do you need to do? Let's just get rid of them. And so, yeah, I agree with that statement. As a matter of fact, notice how all the attention has been placed on firearms, except for the real problem, which of course was the system that failed multiple times from the law enforcement end. And I'm not blaming cops. You know, everybody knows cops do a hell of a job. They have a very tough job. But when you have the leaders of that job who claim no responsibility, I find that very, very difficult to believe. As a former firefighter myself, you know, if you went into a fire and you had a lieutenant who was a half-wit, you knew you couldn't trust their decision-making. You knew you couldn't trust their command skills. So as a result, you relied on someone else, more senior guy, somebody who's been more, you know, salty veteran, so to speak. So, yeah, I just don't agree with the whole gun thing. Keith Gregory's asking me, what do I think of the PPQ Compact? I'm not going to buy one. I am not impressed with it for certain reasons, although I've never fired it and I've never held it. So that's a little bit premature for me to say. But there's just certain things about it that I don't like. As I mentioned before, I don't like the fact that you have a roll pin holding the whole striker assembly together. Don't like that idea. That's the only compact that is made that way, as far as I know. The VP9SK is not made that way. The P99 compact is not made that way. So the flagship gun of Walther should not have been made that way, but that's called cutting corners. Let's see. Whoa, wow. He just gave me $5. Holy cow, man. I don't know why you're doing that. You must be drinking tonight. He's drunk. He's drunk, guys. Appreciate it, KS. Thanks, buddy. So maybe you could start a whole avalanche of money. All right, start throwing me some dollars, boys. Let's see. Progressives have an agenda. And you know what's scary about the supposed progressives is that they're extremely organized. And that is scary because they have billions of dollars that are being pushed into these organizations that claim they're for this cause and this cause. But when in fact, if you look who bankrolls it all, it's usually liberal Hollywood, this guy named George Soros that you guys have heard of. So I think, you know, they're extremely organized, and we're kind of sitting here screaming at each other over bump stocks and this thing and that thing. And that's sort of where I want the panel to go and actually say, wait a second, let's analyze every individual region of what their problems are. Because I'll tell you, the problems I have in New York State are much, much more pronounced than just a bump stock. You know, and again, this is probably something we'll go over when we have that live chat. Yeah, so Frank Hellman's busting on KS saying that he couldn't afford the extra cent. Yeah, why $4.99? That's so weird. I don't know. That's really weird. Steve Worth is saying Stealth Gear, Harry's Holster, Mid-Atlantic, and Tier 1. Holster-wise, Stealth Gear are nice, but really overpriced in my opinion. Harry makes good stuff. Mid-Atlantic makes good stuff. Renaissance Firearms makes good stuff. Who am I missing? Black Arch Holsters makes really good stuff. So there's a lot of different things out there, a lot of different options, and all different price points too, which is even better. He owes me $5. I'm just helping him out. I don't owe you $5. Are you kidding me? That's going to pay for the shipping on that trigger that I still have to send you. Let's see. Big Mo just watched a video from Legally Armed America saying that the killer used 10-round mags, not 30. I'm not surprised by that either. I mean, what's really the difference between 10 and 30 rounds? I know it's 20 rounds, guys, but 10 rounds, in my opinion, is still substantial in any gun. I mean, if you have to shoot somebody more than 10 times, you got a big problem. Big problem. Let's see. Sandpaper pistol grips. Didn't think I wanted to sell it. It was a very nice pistol. I don't know what you're talking about. I must have missed that one. Sorry, buddies. Let's see. Yeah, Turbo Pa is saying maybe mental detectors, not metal detectors, needs to be addressed. I think that's true, man. I think there's obviously a mental health crisis. I think there's a pharmaceutical crisis in the country where we just keep drugging everybody. Oh, they're hyper, drug them. Oh, they're sleepy, drug them. Oh, they have diarrhea, drug them. Everything's getting drugs, pretty soon I'll be taking drugs to try to grow hair because they're working on that too. Although I don't know if I would or wouldn't. Let's see. Frank Hellman, New York, New York. Get me out of this place. Yep, Frank, it blows. But I am stuck here, man, unless somebody wants to give me money. You want to give me a lot of money and a good paying job like I have now, I'll move. But until then, it ain't happening, unfortunately. Let's see. You're welcome, you're welcome, Mad Max. Mental health is the biggest cause of mass shootings. Yep. I think it's just a whole system that is just not working correctly right now. From the fact that this kid had been suspended and expelled, from the fact that the police were notified and called to their house, almost 40 times, and nothing was done. Nothing was investigated. The FBI was contacted. There were so many red flags, and they just so happened to be overlooked. Unbelievable. Let's see. Carry a revolver in single action. The purpose for guns is common sense. So are the anti-gunners really that stupid, or are they faking? They know for a fact guns aren't our biggest problem. I don't think most people who don't like guns are on this bandwagon. I think most of the people who have been radicalized, who are getting money from different organizations, and now they're trying to incorporate education into it. My local high school here, where my kids will eventually go to, there's a bit of a controversy there too, because they're going to do that walkout, which has been scheduled, but they're doing it based on guns, not on mental health, which, I don't get it. Let's see. Music Lover. YouTube has a guy reloading different cat mags with very minuscule reloading times. Yeah, I know nothing about that. I'm not a reloader. Harry Timmons, what do you think about Concealment Express Kydex holsters? Don't know, never use them. Sorry. Logan White, mental health system in my province is poopy. So, Logan, are you in Canada by any chance, since you said province? Am I allowed to show that on? Oh, well. Oh, well. Buddy of his is saying that Canada doesn't need concealed carry. I can't believe, I don't think you're allowed to conceal carry, right? I'm not sure about Canadian laws, but I don't think you're allowed to conceal. I don't know. You'd have to tell me. You'd have to educate me on this. Let's see. Music Lover. A lot of anti-gunners know zip about firearms, so they believe what media, et cetera, tell them. That is absolutely correct. They read the paper and they right away think, well, there is no system of checks in regards to getting guns. My wife upstairs said the same thing. But, one of the things I have to say and is just a simple fact that we got to educate people, but we have to approach it in a reasonable way. I would not recommend throwing, oh, I'm going to, have a revolution. Nobody's going to listen to that crap. Nobody's going to listen to it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying nobody's going to listen. We have to approach this from a very, very sensible standpoint. And what I mean by that is we bring real factual reasons what the Second Amendment really is. I've been watching videos on both sides, people trying to say, well, the Second Amendment is only there to maintain a militia. But, go back to reading what George Washington said about, an armed population. They aren't there just to twiddle their thumbs and just, play baseball with a rifle or a musket at the time, or a long rifle. It was there to protect the citizen from the bad guys, protect the citizen from, an overreaching government, to protect the citizen from an overreaching police or local militia, whatever you want to call it. And that's what it's there for today. To sit here and somehow try to rationalize the idea that we no longer need certain firearms is the most irrational thing you can argue. And for all these people calling for a complete banning of ARs, and it's not going to happen. There are too many people who have too much invested in their guns. There are too many people who believe in that idea of life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And unfortunately, there are so many Americans who are just not getting that right now. They're not understanding that fact that these are not arbitrary rights. These are rights that every single one of us have been born with, period. That's it. Let's see. Can't conceal carry in Canada, which is garbage. I couldn't live there. I could never live there. It's bad enough here in New York. I could not imagine living in Canada. That's crazy. Music says, I see a lot of females at my range. In fact, some are instructors, and that's great. I think females should get more involved in the gun profession. And I'm hoping, that the ones that come out are not wearing way too much makeup with their hair teased up and looking like they just came off a pole, if you know what I mean. Let's see. You can't carry in public there, right? I guess they're talking about Canada. Appreciate that, Matt. Yeah, I mean, thumbs up would be great. I'm sure I'll get my customary 3 thumbs down, or at least 4 before the night is over. It says, Frank is saying, since Delta dissed the NRA, Georgia pulled their nice tax break for having their headquarters in Atlanta, which they should, because that's ridiculous. Okay, so the NRA supports certain things, and fine, you don't want to support the NRA, great. Then we don't support you with a tax break. Done. Next. Let's see. Keith Gregory, you can have them in your home, right? I hope so. That would be terrible. So Logan is saying we can, but if we have more than 10 handguns in our homes, we get searched. Oh my God, that's terrible. I think they proposed that in New York a while ago, but that went nowhere. Wicked Sensations make the 5 thumbs down. Thank you, Wicked. I knew I could always count on you for support, buddy. CW Hunter saying, right. Also, we need groups like the NRA to hire some calm speaking, reasonable PR firm. People like Dana and Wayne often come in as agitated nuts. And I think also the problem with the folks at the NRA is, they are so polished. They're not like the common person. I would consider a lot of us who are here right now the common person. Reasonable people who like owning firearms, who feel like it's a part of our natural right. And as a result, I'm willing to listen what the other side has to say, as long as it's reasonable. And right now, what they've proposed so far is anything but reasonable. They try to justify everything with the age limits, with what kind of, rifle you can buy. And yet they can't logically say, well, why can I go and buy a rifle that's in the same caliber, but if it doesn't look dangerous, I can still own it? I mean, it's the most irrational thing. You can't go buy an AK-47, but you can, if you can find one, find an old Saiga, those a 7.62 with a sporter stock. It's the same gun. It's the same exact gun. As I hit my microphone, but it's the same exact gun. And yet, because it doesn't look as dangerous, you're allowed to have that, but you're not allowed to have one that looks evil. I mean, it's just the dumbest, irrational thing I've ever heard. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's see. Here in Georgia, we love our guns, and even the police are cool with you about it when you get pulled over. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I wound up selling a gun, and it was to a state trooper, and he was actually a real cool guy. And the funny thing is, and this is what makes me sick to my stomach, the douchebag in Florida who shot up the school and killed all those innocent people, he was never red flagged once, never put on a delay, nothing. This state trooper who just bought my full-size M&P for me, he was actually delayed. A state trooper, he was delayed. If that doesn't make sense, I don't know what does. It's just unbelievable. Let's see. Has anyone heard about the Minnesota weapons rights ban? No, I've not heard that, Hunts. I've not heard that at all. That's interesting. Logan White, Minnesota was proposing banning all semi-autos, among other things. Unreal. So I guess you guys are going to use black powder. Stephen Worth is asking, any news on getting your new handguns you're waiting on for 1770? I'm assuming you mean my P01 Omega. That's kind of an interesting, odyssey of stupidity also. But that's why I wanted to bring the next chat I do with a group of people from different areas, so that everybody can understand what each area is really going through in regards to the lack of gun rights. So for me, as you guys know, you have to go to your local sheriff, hand in your paperwork. They give you a little green coupon. And you take that green coupon to your dealer or your FFL that has your gun. You show it to them. They run your NICS background check, and then you're good to go if you pass it. Well, it used to be in my county in particular. My county, you just walk in that day and you leave that minute with your green coupon. Well, they've changed that. Now it supposedly it takes additional time, but they don't specify how long, even though there's no waiting period in New York State. And basically, right now, I handed it in December of last year. They got it in their office on the 26th, they claim, which I know is not, because how could they get it on the 26th? They were closed. So they actually received it on the 20th, and now it's in March, and I still haven't received that coupon. So the past couple of days, this week, I actually wound up calling State Assemblyman, I think his name is Richard or Robert Cahill. I can't remember what his first name is. And so I called his office and I spoke to somebody in his office who is like, whatever. And I basically gave her an earful. And I said to her, it's absolutely ridiculous. You guys are for whatever reason, this judge who has my stupid little paper is not signing it. And because he's not signing it, he's actually denying my rights to my own property. And that was something that I couldn't stress enough. Here I paid so much money for this handgun, and you are technically denying the rights that I have to that handgun with no justifiable cause, with no due process. Again, I use that word freely, but no due process to determine if I should have it or not. You're just saying, I'm not going to sign it just yet. And, I wrote a letter, I called, and I finally got a hold of somebody, but it's, and I pulled up the judge's record, and the judge has already been admonished, and he's also been censured by New York State several times for not doing his job. And now you can see why. So for us in New York State, it's a whole slew of different problems. It's not just the legislature that's a problem, but it's also the judicial portion who's a problem. And of course, our executive, Governor Cuomo. And yes, Ranger Addy, you're absolutely correct. They don't give two craps. They could care less. That's why I kind of scoff at the idea where you see videos of people saying, yes, write your Congress people, blah, 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 blah. They don't care. They don't care about guns. Guns are not popular right now. And if it's not popular, that ship will not be blown in this direction because the winds are blowing against the ship at this point. So to sit here and to tell us we need to contact our legislature, for what? For what? They're not going to do anything about it. If anything, what we need to do is we need to get the NRA and kick them in their ass and get them in gear. And we need to get the Gun Owners of America. And we need these two organizations to come together. Now, before people say, oh, that'll never happen, they said the same thing. And I talked earlier about this to KS. I go back in history. Go read a history book. Read about the AFL and the CIO. Before they joined forces, these were two separate unions who couldn't get the job done because they were not powerful enough and nobody was listening. And they were too busy fighting each other. Then they decided to merge, and they've become the single most powerful union in America. Now, some people don't like unions. Me personally, I'm a union guy. But at the same time, you know what? This union couldn't have done their job if they didn't get together. So why not create the NRA GOA and just be done? Let's get it together, man. If you're sitting here saying, hey, we want your money and we're going to represent your gun rights, then act like big boys, pull up your big boy pants, and work together. How hard would that be? Let's see. Active judicial is wrong. Yep. The judicial branch in New York is not actually interpreting laws. They are actually creating and rewriting laws because, it's obscene. It really is. And if I knew a lawyer, I'd get one, but I don't want to pay for it. Let's see. I carry my revolver saying I said the same thing, 1776. The NRA and the GOA need to join forces right now. They do. They do. And they need to start acting like adults. And they need to start looking past the political action committees that have greased the pockets of the NRA for too many years. Enough is enough. And then, of course, you have everybody out there who are saying, oh, no, the NRA didn't sell us out. Looks like they're selling us out right now with their boy, Donald Trump, which is kind of disturbing and kind of annoying. The RCMP are in control of gun laws here. Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Yeah, I can't take people seriously wearing red coats and tall boots. Just kind of, I don't know, something about it disturbs me. Or do they wear black pants too? I think. Who knows? Problem is the NRA has no interest in it, and you're right, they don't. They don't have any interest in it. That's why they're a useless organization right now. But I get emails from them just about every day asking me to give them more money, which I don't. I'm not a member of the NRA anymore. Haven't been for a year. Support the GOA. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, you need to support someone. I don't support the NRA. I think that they've lost a lot of gun people just from their actions that they've done. Black pants with yellow stripe down the leg. Yeah, I don't know, man. And they wear the red jackets, of course, and the top hats or whatever. Not the top hat, but you know what I mean. Let's see. Keith is asking, what would be the smallest gun to carry? It depends. I mean, if you like really small, go with an LCP. I know that some people out there love the P365. Me personally, I'm not a fan of it, although I've never held one. I don't like it. But for me, the smallest that I would carry is either like a PPS sized single stack or a shield. And those are the smallest that I would carry. But I don't really have many small guns. I do have a shield on the way, but that's it. That's the smallest one. Logan saying yes, but only for ceremonial reasons. All right, I got an extra 99 cents. Sweet, Mr. Man. Nice. So now I'm at whatever that is, 588, right? Yeah, 588. All right, raking in the dough. Carrying my revolver in single action, saying a Glock 26. I don't really even carry small guns. Like today, I was carrying the M&P 2.0 compact, and I gotta say that gun is just awesome. Just an awesome gun to carry. Fantastic. I love it. I love it. So Scott took Mac up on his offer. He ordered a patch and got a membership. All right, good to go. See you, KS. Music agrees. Smallest would be a shield. Yeah, I don't really think I don't really think I'd go smaller than that. I mean, and for me, even to just single carry a shield, I just don't know if I would do that either. Hunt is asking if I sold the full size. Yes, I did. I sold the black one. And I actually got an FDE one. FDE, I can't resist. So I have can you guys hear me? Do I have volume? Did I lose all my volume? Nope, I'm back. Okay, good. I don't know what the hell's going on with my microphone. It like stops in the middle of for no reason. I already reset the USB connections, making sure that they're active all the time, and it does not work. So it's all good. And now I'm fixing my color on my little screen here so I look pretty. There we go. Okay, maybe not. Good enough. But I mean, for me, small gun wise, I just don't carry small guns. I know some people may look at that as being stupid, but I just don't. It's just not my thing. Let's see. Did you see that top loading AR-15 at SHOT Show? It has a fixed mag. That would be New York compliant as long as the magazine is fixed. So yeah, I saw that. It's pretty cool. Thanks, Frank. But you need to learn how to spell that word first, buddy. Does anyone want a stuffed up nose? No, I already have one of those too. As a matter of fact, we got blasted up here in the Northeast with snow, and I got no snow. Zero snow. We just had rain. And like literally 10 minutes down the road, got a foot of snow. It's crazy. Very strange. All right. So I'm going to kind of probably cut this out a little bit early tonight. I don't like staying too long, keeping you guys away from life. And then Music's asking, does the FDE shoot more accurately? It doesn't, but it looks better when you shoot it. You got to trust me on that. FDE looks better on everything. That or OD green. Yeah, I got real lucky. Real lucky. It's crazy. There's people, I think about 20 minutes north of me in northern Ulster who lost their power, and they won't be getting their power back until Wednesday. Wednesday. That's crazy. Crazy. Nevada got some snow, apparently, according to Steve. Everybody's saying what life? Yeah, I'd like to believe I have one, Plus, I won't get yelled at if I actually get yelled at if I stay on too long. So here's what I'm going to say. In the next Flying Solo chat, I'm actually going to put an announcement ahead of time so that everybody, gets on board who wants to be there. and I'm going to try to pick a time that doesn't really interfere with other chats that are going on. So I know a lot of people are cutting out, but don't cut out yet because I do want to finish a couple of things. But what I plan on doing is inviting a bunch of different channels, a bunch of different people, seeing who wants to come aboard and just kind of get an idea of how we can represent in a more positive way, really putting a real view on the gun community that is not what everybody would expect. You know, I'm not sitting here knocking anybody, but I really don't want James Yeager representing me. And it's not because I know him personally, but, you know, I just don't want him as my representative. I don't. And while he might be for the gun community, you know, and maybe he is, and great if he is, and I hope he is, I just don't know if that's the best course of action. And I think we can do better. I'll be honest with you. And I'm not saying that's me, because it's not, but you know, I'd like to see what everybody you know, thinks about. But just keep that in the back of your head. Stay tuned for the next Flying Solo, because I think it's going to be pretty cool. And I'm going to try to be able to get some big people here. And so you know, we'll see. I know Saturday tends to be a good time, and again, obviously, it's going to be, you know, what the majority of people can do. And I think that's the most important thing, is just trying to get people involved, and involved in a positive. So we'll see. That's funny. I just saw Scott. He's saying, OD Green, I can at least agree with. I don't want my gun being 5 different shades of shit. That's true. That is true. All right, everybody. It looks like people are signing off. So I just want to say thanks for showing up. You know, again, this is about, what did I start? It's about 35 minutes of just talking. So, you know, that's about all I can put out right now. But stay tuned. I got some reviews coming up of some pretty cool stuff. Can't wait to review the Shadow 2. That's going to be awesome. Hopefully I'll have some new guns coming very soon, and some other products that I actually got. I got this one cool one coming out that I'm actually very, very, very pleasantly surprised about. It's from Blackbeard Belts. Very interesting looking belt, but you may want to check them out because they are very good. All right, guys, have a great night. Stay safe Saturday night. You know, parties happen, so I hope you guys are all safe out there. As always, freedom is never free.